Hello, my mimics, and welcome back to the Mimic Commentary, episode 106, where we continue through Caelid and we go that-a-way. Before we do, I said last episode I would talk about the Gold Scarab and Carl Jung. Jung was, I think, Swedish psychologist, very influential in his field. If you've ever watched the channel Centered Tarnished, I don't think he's made a video in about a year, but I would highly recommend. Highly recommend. If you've not watched Centered Tarnished, you should. Because he looked at Elden Ring through the lens of Jungian psychology, and Jung did a lot of work with how symbols influence us through history. And Jung has this very famous story. It's his scarab story. He had a young female patient who was educated and rational, but he thought that she was struggling to move forward in her therapy because she was imprisoned by her own rationality. She was someone who was resistant to change and emotionally blocked. And he recounts the story. I think he recounts the story in like the 1970s, but I think this occurs in the 1940s. And she talks about how someone presented to her a golden scarab. This vivid dream from the night before, a golden scarab with a precious Egyptian jewel. And this scarab, in ancient mythology, is symbolic of transformation and rebirth. After she recounts that story, that dream to Jung, he hears tapping on the window. And he turns and there's a scarab beetle on the window. So he opens the window, takes the scarab, and he presents it to her, and he says, "Here is your scarab." And from that moment on, as Jung writes and recounts this story, this moment deeply affected the patient, and the shock broke her intellectual defenses and allowed her to open up emotionally, after which her therapy started to begin to make real progress. Jung would use this as a prime example in what he calls synchronicity, which is a causal connection of meaning. According to Jung, there was no physical cause linking the dream and the beetle's appearance, but the meaningful coincidence was so precise and timely that it seemed orchestrated by something deeper. Okay? Now, we're looking at this scarab. Why is it included in Elden Ring? They're all throughout Elden Ring, the scarabs. I mean, we just, the incantation scarabs, glintstone scarabs, ash of war scarabs, they're found all over the place. But we found this golden scarab on two clean rot knights who are the soldiers, the knights of Melania the Severed, Melania Blade of Mikola, and Mikola is one of our Empyrean demigods. He is the one with the lilies. He has the bewitching and enchanting branches. He is the only demigod whose name appeared outside of the Lands Between when we were choosing our starting class. So Mikola, very important character, and he's getting tied to the gold scarab. Now, when we also have Saint Trina and her lilies. Her lilies, almost an exact match for Mikola's lilies. And Saint Trina is tied to sleep, and people are searching for her in their dreams, okay? People are searching for Saint Trina in their dreams. So we're getting a tie between Mikola and Saint Trina, and we're getting a tie to dreams. We think back to the scarab. This woman, in her dream, someone presented a scarab to her, and the scarab symbolized growth and rebirth. Then, the next day, or soon after, she recounts that story to her therapist or psychologist, Carl Jung. Then a scarab knocks on the window, and he presents the scarab with her, and then she goes through a rebirth where she is allowed to grow as a person, and therapy starts actually working for her. If we're thinking from a prophetic lens, and we're thinking about this story, the dream that this patient had could have been a precognition of her receiving the beetle from Carl Jung. But the only reason he gave her the beetle was because she told him about the dream she had of receiving the beetle. So this is indicative. This is very indicative of how prophecy works in storytelling. At least when it works properly, when it's used to a effective degree. The future is clearly defined and will happen. A vision is sent back in time, informing the recipient of what the future will be. Because they saw that vision of the future, they then are influenced by that vision of the future that allows the future to happen. So this is where we tie it into our prophecies. You know, we have our blindfold, and we have the burning of the Erd tree. And now we're getting this golden scarab tied to Miquella and Melania. So because of the actions of Miquella and Melania, we're getting our scarab moment, essentially. Something is going to happen through the prophecies, perhaps based on maybe a dream they had of the future. Maybe a dream someone had of the future. I think the scarabs, this is a deep cut. It's a very deep cut. But the scarab, I think, is incredibly indicative of the larger story that's being told when it comes to prophecies. And also the idea that the future, the present, and the past are connected together, not just linearly as we see it and experience time, but maybe on a deeper level. Some of the ways that this could be explained is with the concept of quantum entanglement. I think it's two particles could be entangled at different points of space and time, but if one particle is observed, and observed in science is measured, that measurement also affects the other particle. The idea, at least like one of the pseudo-scientific or just scientific or just theorizing or hypothesizing for how precognition could work, is that the self is quantumly entangled. The present self is quantumly entangled with a future self, and when one thing happens to the future self, it also could affect the past self. And in a thing like dreams, which are very ethereal, which are, still kind of unexplained, could dreams be indicative of future events impacting someone on the present? We see dreams as a tool in many myths and stories and history of affecting people to do great or terrible things. A Song of Ice and Fire has many instances of someone receiving a dream and then that dream influencing them to make something come true. Generally, it's a prophetic dream or it's a dream of something happening far away. It's all very interesting stuff. But the fact that we find these scarabs tied to Miquella and Melania's knights, especially here, well, then we should start thinking, how is it what Miquella and Melania do affect the prophecy? What is it that they do that brings about the burning of the Erd tree? And more importantly, our arrival, because we are the prophesized tarnished. We did the prophecy painting that pointed to the chapel of anticipation, and then we fell to our death chasing nascent butterflies, and we think of that butterfly effect. The butterfly effect found butterflies right here. So the butterfly effect causing one thing after the other. Maybe the first thing is a dream of the future, a dream of the Erd tree being burned because of our prophecy that has to do with this forge. And the prophecy can only come true when our tarnished, lights the flames. So what events what actions do Miquella and Melania take that leads to our tarnished coming here to the lands between? Is one of them marching against Radahn and doing this to Caelid? Could that be? Well, we'll have to wait and see until we get to, I think, Altus Plateau. Because this is the last battle of the Shattering. And the Shattering is the war that led to the abandonment of Greater Will. That's what they say in the introduction. And then I don't know if it's... I'm not sure if it's the shattering of the Elden Ring that means tarnished or given grace in the return, or it's the end of the Shattering War. That one is a timeline thing I have difficult with, so I need your help on that. Are the tarnished arriving after the Elden Ring is shattered, like immediately after, during the Shattering War, or is it happening after the Shattering? Like, is it before, during, or after? If it's before, I mean, that's fine. You know, it all works, but I'm just curious to... it's still important causally to how our Tarnished arrives here, because the world has to be in this state. Like, Caelid is stuck. Like, Radahn, we have to kill Radahn, and, you know, if Melania didn't make him weaker, it might not have been a possible feat for us, as what I would say. We're also rocking the Redmane soldier armor, so let's take a look what that is. Radahn soldier helm worn by soldiers who fought by General Radahn's side. His visor is fashioned after lion's fang. Now, the lion is generally a symbol of the golden lineage, but Radahn, red-haired Radahn, son, I don't know if we know that he's red hair. No, we do. We've seen him in the trailers. Red-haired Radahn, son of Radahn. He is evoking the lion imagery. Do we know why yet? Redmane surcoat, armor worn by soldiers who fought by Radahn's side. The surcoat depicts a Redmane lion raising a sword in the image of Radahn. Thus, they were Redmanes, and all proved they were worthy of the name. So, Radahn is the famed red lion and scourge of the stars. So, this is supposed to evoke Radahn, this image. The golden lion... Oh, which I can actually... I have enough strength to wield this now. But not enough for everything else. What if I... If I take away St. Trina's sword and we go Radahn instead of Marika, we lose some spellcasting, but maybe this could be pretty cool. So this evokes Sarash, who guides the golden lineage, and this evokes Radahn and his Redmanes. The difference here, we're seeing full beast here. These are the sigils that we have found throughout. We saw these throughout Stormveil. We've seen this in many places. The lion, and we know that Godfrey kind of like stole this sigil. Like, his statues is put in front of it so he can be like, look, I'm the real beast. And it looks like Radahn is trying to emulate the beast in some way, but he's making it his own. This is Radahn's sigil. This isn't, you know, another lion that he's taking over. He's like, no, I am the lion. And my lion has a sword. I am a great warrior. I am the scourge of the stars. And it's interesting that they were Redmanes. All prove they were worthy of the name. So you have to be worthy to be a Redmane. You have to be someone of... I guess great quality to be a Redmane, probably physical. You have to be able to mount up to the scars, to the guy who defeated the stars. Also, the color is interesting. If we look, it's not the same red and blue, but it's similar. And that red and blue is tied to the Academy. Maybe tied to the Carians more directly. So we're seeing in the colors, Radahn is showing his connection to the Academy and his lineage as a Carian. He's showing with the lion, he's showing a bit of Sarash in there, but he's making it distinct by having the sword. And you have to be... you have to show that you could be worthy of it. What is the Godric helm? So this is interesting. All the helmets are the same except for a little added difference. The Cuckoo have the feather, and the Redmanes have the fangs. Godric's are kind of golden, and these are not. Anything else about their gauntlets? Oh, that's Knight, so I need to put on Radahn Soldier. Sorry, I don't want to talk about those yet. I don't want to talk about that stuff yet. Where is our Soldier Greaves? Oh, I don't have Radahn Soldier Greaves, it looks like, so we'll keep wearing the... We'll just put on Knight Greaves. Alright. We continue forward. What spells can I not cast now? I can still cast Blessing's Boon. It's Lightning Stance and meteorite, which was actually just bad anyway, so what does it matter? I want to try Great Shield because, you know what? Why not? We're strong enough. Let's see. How do we do with a block? Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, here's our evidence further ahead. We're gonna see those. We're gonna see those guys attack the dog when we get closer. Yeah, so the scarab stuff I find so interesting, and I've. Oh, that does a lot of damage. I've really been. What's the best way to do this? We'll take that on later. I've really been kind of enjoying. There is something comforting, I think, about the precognition stuff. That missed. And like the prophecy stuff in a real world example. Researching the topic and reading some of these books, it's one of the things that pops up is like how prophecy and future sight is something that is prevalent in every single culture. Oh, this is so slow, and I'm missing because of it. It's prevalent in every single culture except modern culture. Today, I went to... I got coffee with someone I do jiu-jitsu with, and they recently did ayahuasca in Costa Rica with the shamans and all that, and they recounted their experience to me. And a few years ago, I would have... There we go. A few years ago, I would have said that like this was all BS, and you just like took some drugs and are believing some nonsense. Let me hit that site of grace. But we're not gonna go that way. We're not gonna do this. We'll come back to this, just in case I need it. But after recovering memories and changing my perspective, that thinking like, oh my goodness, there is things in my life that have been affecting me this entire time, yet I had no idea. It's allowed me to be a little bit more open-minded with all this stuff. What spell could we put in here? I got so many spells, but I don't know which ones to use. Let's do... I guess we should do a Faith. Let's do... Home Bolt kind of stinks. Well, I'll put Home Bolt anyway, because we need Lightning. And then we could do another Fire, maybe? I kind of like the Sweep. But it's given me, time to reconsider a lot of stuff. Beautiful Limgrave. There's that troll. Look at these guys are doing a good job making sure the rot doesn't get to Limgrave. And the thing, like, what he shared with how that experience affected him and changed him positively about, the things about himself that he thought he knew, but changed his perspective because of this experience he had. It brought a tear to my eye, and it made me, kind of appreciate. And here we go. We see these guys attacking him. It made me appreciate the changes that I've gone through to, be more, still be myself, but be more, I think open-minded. And I think there is a lot of kind of beauty in that. And the things like about precognition, that I've been finding it very comforting, in the idea that the future impacts the past in a way of survival. That, the way that I'm understanding it from reading this book is it's only your memories, they would argue, that you're getting, not someone else's. So and that means it comes from your own survival. Like, you have to be alive to have that memory. And to me, that they argue that it's just like a thing that life has evolved to do, in way to survive. Like, learning about, like, getting a memory from the future is a way to ensure that you survive by doing the right thing to make that, memory of the future happen. It's not like someone who's able to, see tomorrow's lottery numbers or something like that, or see all of time. It's just like, I don't know, it's like a survival technique. Like, when you know someone's looking at you and you look and you catch someone looking at you, like, that is how they describe it. It's like, it's that sixth sense that helps survival. And I don't know, it just, in the More Than a Sword episode, the idea that the tattoo now helps me in the past, and that doing jujitsu now helps me in the past, that makes me feel, it gives me some comfort. And another thing that gives me comfort is thinking about how what I could be doing to not just improve my own life, but the life of my family that I have now, and my future family of, one day having children. So I think this healing journey has been very positive for me, and it's had its turmoil, but it's been very good. And there's been growth without rot. Speaking of rot, I want to show you this. Sorry about that. I don't know if that was all too interesting. This stuff bleeds, so that I don't know what to make of this, that it bleeds. It makes me think of the roots and arteria leaves. Like, there is blood pulsing through this. The land is alive, maybe, or it's from the dead. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But it's kind of it's kind of disturbing that it bleeds. They didn't have to make it bleed. Also, we're doing the Radahn soldier because they don't know that there is a mimic among them, coming here to cause trouble. I guess after we do this dungeon, we have to go back to, not Fort Gael. We gotta go to Smoldering Wall, then Fort Gael. Try jumping. Overcast. I guess because it's night, the sky isn't red. Man, Limgrave was beautiful. Wasn't Limgrave fun, everybody? All the times we had there. Sorry, we're looking for lilies. We're looking for lilies. Interesting that this is loaded in, too. I love that. Alright. What do we have in here? Oh, is this going to be where we met... Oh! We're going to meet Alexander again. It's the Gael Tunnel, everybody. Oh, that's sick. I'm excited to meet Alexander again. He's going to be so surprised. Give us legs. The Mimic Stone on the man. No hiding place ahead. Also, how are you supposed to get down here? How are they doing the work? I guess from the rear entrance? But it looks like with the candles here, people were coming down. And then they made a campsite. It's been a while since we've done a tunnel. But gosh, it is just like so disturbing hearing the whispering. Playing with high quality headphones kind of changes things. It also feels weird having a Great Shield. I've never played these games with a Great Shield. How does Magic Blade do against him? Okay, that's pretty good. How about two-handing? No, we'll just use Glint Blade. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so... Is he dead? No, they're both alive, and he's looking towards the land octopi. So how did a land octopi get in here? Is there going to be any flowing water? Oh, we picked up... I neglected to talk about this. Golden Rune 9, those born at the fruit of the year tree are blessed. Ellie says the enduring belief of the people of the plateau. We found this in Caelid, so that tells me that perhaps the people of Radahn's army are people who used to work for, or used to be soldiers maybe of Leyndell, or at least came from the capital. And here we're actually seeing a little dynamic here. Radahn's soldiers are looking after the miners. And obviously for their continued warring. But I think this is one of the few places where we see, like, essentially someone like watching the miners, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess foremen you would call them. Let's just clear this out with that. Uh-oh. Looking for some more runes in here, huh? I guess heavy attacks would be good too. Alright, what level are we getting here? Smithing stone 4s. Found everyone wants to play. Alright, nothing special there. Alright, let's find out more about these octopi. There was, I think, was there any land octopi over here? No, there weren't. It was just from the beach. We do find them in the underground. Octopus ahead, didn't expect. It was hanging from the ceiling. I guess the answer could be oh geez. The octopi grew in the cave because we had the water coming down from up above. Oh, mimic. Okay, they're really giving us, like, they're saying mimic, mimic, mimic. There's a somber smithing stone in here. Obviously, the silver fireflies with the water. They're trying to tell us something about the octopi. Puffy, milky white ovary of land octopus. Land octopus eat humans in order to bear young, and theirs is the blood that runs through these ovaries. So it's human blood. You know, they don't have their own blood. They have to take human blood. So they're mimicking, I guess, humans in some way. But I imagine, like, maybe the young one maybe passed through the cracks in here and then grew in this watery area. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. And then we have the cross naginata. The weapon consisting of three-pronged blade fixed to a long pole. The long central blade closely resembles a katana. A weapon of the Land of Reeds, known for its ability to be wielded as a spear while still being capable of performing slashing attacks. Let's equip that and see what it looks like. So are we going to see a Land of Reeds influence in Caelid? We saw, we got the Uchigatana in the Death Touch Catacombs. Oh, we are going to see a Land of Reeds. There is the Samurai set is found in Caelid. So something about Land of Reeds we should be thinking about. All right, let's look at the moveset. Ooh, that's a really nice moveset. Wow, I've never used this weapon before. That's a really nice moveset. Yeah, that's really good. Can I do a... Oh, you can block and poke? Alright, I'm probably not going to use that weapon because it'll take too many smithing stones to upgrade. I wonder what that says about... Does that do blood loss? It does do blood loss, so I wonder if the blood loss is connecting it to the... if it's connecting it to the octopus in any way. Ooh, Grace Mimic. I want to look at his eyes. Yeah, his eyes are really golden. This guy is endowed with the grace of gold. What was that Grace Mimic on? This guy fell.
Oh, good sir. Where did you spring from? This was supposed to be a dead end, I'm sure of it. What's going on here? A door from thin air? Well, stranger things happen at sea, or so I'm told. But onward to the Caelid wilds. I suppose my calculations were right all along. You should head this way as well, friend. It's time I set off. To the festival at Redmane Castle on the southern edge of the scarlet rot-blighted Caelid wilds. Doesn't the thought just set your heart aflutter?
The funny thing is that, about the dialogue is that he doesn't know the door was here. He doesn't know that the door would be here. And he calls this the Caelid Wilds, which is interesting that we find a lot of ruins here and castles, but it seems that most of the area must have been wild. Like, there's a lot of towns here. There's 1, 2, then there's a castle, then there's another castle, 3 castles, then a town in here. There's the ruins of 4 or 5 towns, but he calls it the Wilds. So, disappointing that we didn't get that, but I just hope that means we don't miss out on the festival dialogue. So, let's see who our boss is. A Magma Wyrm. So a Wyrm, as in a type of dragon, as we see. He has a weapon of his own. He crawls on his belly like a snake, but he has wings. So he's not a dragon, but he's dragon adjacent. In A Song of Ice and Fire, the worm... Oh, he's also spitting out magma. The worms are found, I think, through old Valeria in the mining tunnels, like fireworms. And they are... I don't know if there's much lore behind what the worms are, other than that they're, like, not dragons. Interesting that this guy has a sword that is also scaly, indicating intelligence from him. We don't know much about the dragon's intelligence yet, other than... Actually, no, we do. The dragon that was Adula outside of Ronnie, he had a sword, but he was casting magic swords with his intelligence. When we learn more about the Magma Wyrms, we're gonna see that this indicates actually another faction within the dragons. I think there are 3 overarching factions of dragons, actually maybe even 4, and the Magma Wyrms are very important to understanding that. Also, that we find him in here. Why do we find him in this tunnel? We have our typical meteorites that landed here and giving us the smithing stones, but why is he down here? And could this tie to the dragon wound grease that we found earlier in the abandoned cave? Sorry, buddy. Gnarly, gnarly teeth. His wings look like they're just for show. I guess that's what we could get from them. Why did he evolve to have wings if they don't actually work? You know, the worm thing, too, it reminds me of the winged serpents that we saw in Volcano Manor. If he's a worm, worm is a type of dragon, but also, like, you think of the word worm, like crawling on your bellies like a worm. And that he has these he has these wings that are impotent. It makes me think of the winged serpents. Oh, he has a dragon heart. Okay, so he is... And he gave us Moonveil. Dragon heart seized by a dragon tracker, riddled with gravelstone, this grotesque organ continues to beat. So we can consume a dragon's heart. While terrible and savage looking, the heart has a particular beauty to it. So he is still a dragon, but he's a different type of dragon. Now, what type of dragon could he be? But it makes me think, not Rykard particularly, but of the serpents, of the flying serpents, of like a winged serpent. Like, he is a real dragon because he has a dragon heart. But when I think of, like, a serpent with wings, like, that's a fake dragon. Like, it's not a real dragon. Like a snake with wings, not a real dragon. And that kind of makes me think, like, he was obviously a real dragon, but it kind of, Katana forged of glintstone. Ooh, let's equip this bad boy. You know what? We're not going to do the heavy shield anymore. I don't like it. maybe if I drink more milk and I get bigger. But let's look at Moonveil. Very popular weapon. We have good enough int to use it. And it was found on this dragon. Why did this dragon have it? We could see there's glintstone scraps in here. Yeah, this is a glintstone cave. So I guess the meteorite that came from the sky, not only did it bring glintstone with its gold, but it also, that it brought smithing stones with its gold, but did it bring glintstone as well? Was this a falling star that had glintstone and smithing stones on it? So let's look at our sword. It's made of glintstone. We can see it within the blade. Let's look at its Ash of War. Cool. And nice. Moonveil. Transient moonlight. So immediately we are getting some idea of the moon. We should be thinking Rani and Renala and Renna. Katana forged of glintstone. Masterpiece of a Celian swordsmith. And Celia is the town of sorcery, which has the same sigils as the ambush shards. But Celians like to study stars. The Celians are interested in stars, yet a masterpiece of a Celian swordsmith made the Moonveil. Light enwreaths the blade when sheathed, explaining the Moonveil moniker. Light enwreaths the blade when sheathed. So, the Moonveil. So when it's in its sheath, when you can't see it, it has it's being enwreathed in light. That's the Moonveil, the hidden moon. Ooh, or the moon is hiding something. The Moonveil. Okay, next episode, we're going to talk about Moonveil. I'm also going to upgrade it. So, thank you all for watching. You know the drill. Let's do the thing.